When they quit going, I flat out told Susan, I'm not going to force them to get out of the car anymore.
And she went on to say, well, don't you think that your dad taking you from 4 months actually caused it? I'm like, no, that happened after the fact.
She said you have them on unauthorized time
on his
after
birthday.
she had left.
On his birthday.
Yeah.
While it rained. Okay, let's get to the next
one.
Okay, number 6. Which parent is more likely to allow the child frequent, meaningful, and continuing contact with the other parent? There's another sentence to this one. This paragraph does not apply if the court determines that a parent is acting in good faith to protect the child from witnessing an act of domestic violence or being a victim of domestic violence or child abuse.
Oh, there's so much there. We could do a whole episode
On
just
that one.
on that one.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know about that second sentence.
Yes. So what was it Susan was all about? Oh, actually, it was Nana.
Mm-hmm.
About what started it.
When Nina was in the courtroom?
No, 2 days ago, I got home from school and Susan and Richie aren't there, but Nana is. Nana is supposed to be there
That's Susan's mother.
To assure that the door is unlocked because I'm untrustworthy to have a key to my own house.
Carefree house.
Oh, that's right. It is a carefree home. Home. They didn't say house. Home.
And the first thing Nana brings up in the conversation is the podcast. I was really surprised about that. I thought
She's watched these.
Mm-hmm. So I'm really surprised that she brings it up, and then the next day Susan brings it up. But with the argument with Nana, she says, "What do you think caused all of this?" I'm like, "Well, did you see the video? We explained it in the video."
Episode 1.
It was mostly because Susan changed our Layla school systems. That was like the first domino to really fall.
So I gave her the 14 letters, which happened to be a week and a half before school started.
Mm-hmm.
Jason had gone over there. We'll get to that. That was a whole blow up of a day in itself. And then Layla's schools get switched, and then Raymond and Layla stayed with Dad for 4 months.
So, and before they stayed with me for 4 months, I had been writing Susan emails. They are not comfortable getting out of the car. They do not want to go there. They're not telling me what is wrong. But I don't think you guys knew exactly what was wrong. But when you got there, you knew things weren't right. And you just didn't quite have your finger on it. So for 4 months, you guys did not go visit Susan. You refused to. She called the police. They came and did a welfare check. According to the court papers at that time, it was on my day that she sent them over. And she had told the cops that I'm not taking them to school. Raymond was online still, and what were you doing?
I was doing homework when the police knocked on the boat.
School.
So, and they looked in the fridge and said, wow, you got pretty good food.
You make really good food.
I do. And they're like, okay, there's
Delicious.
no problems here. Do you like being here?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well then, what's the problem? So, that was Susan trying to get the police on me.
And they didn't talk to you, did they?
They did.
They did?
Yeah, but I was kind of irrelevant because I was 19.
You were over 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, you're over 18, you're not a child. You can
But
live
he
on
did
your
ask,
own.
well, what's your relationship with her? I'm like, not good. I was like, got it.
And then afterwards, the police officers were like, how's it like living on a boat?
Yeah, they were like, this is cool.
I want to do this.
I wish I was there for that.
Yeah, I'm in the boat doing schoolwork. I hear outside the window, how's it like?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first sentence.
Okay,
was
well, we kind of
meaningful.
we kind of went with the second sentence.
Okay.
So when they quit going, I flat out told Susan, I'm not going to force them to get out of the car anymore. And of course, that Monday comes, they don't show up, police come. And then, a couple weeks went by, he still wanted to go to church.
Yeah.
And then she started holding his church clothes as ransom.
We mentioned that in a past
Yeah, that's
episode.
right, we did.
Not in much detail, though. It was more of a sentence blurb.
Yeah. And from there, what... Okay, so then that's what spurred the first court date.
Yes.
Since the divorce. So it was 10 years, no court date issues up until that. And then it was...
So during the 4 months that Raymond and Layla were with us, it was the best 4 months. But
it was...
More stuff was coming out about Richie.
That's right, because his kids
And
were
then-
just getting out of CPS.
Yes, and so Raymond and Layla not being at the house anymore, and then we're hearing... These were all public documents, too, about
Yes.
Richie. And all these things are getting updated, and...
Well, we first had the court date with... The first court date,
Mm-hmm.
where Susan took that, and she said, he withheld them from me for 4 months. But that's the whole part, is that I had good reason to.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know exactly what the reason was, but then after that court date, when things changed, then it was like 2 or 3 months later, I go to the courthouse and I purchase Richie's court documents.
Which is Susan's current husband.
Yeah, I think we've said that before. And he was flat out sanctioned no overnight visits because of the unsafe conduct with your children.
And it was all sexually related in nature, and none of it had been ruled out, or it was all pending.
Everything was
30.
pending.
It was like 30 of them.
30?
It was a list. It was a
30
whole page.
different incidences, yeah.
I don't know the exact number, but it was more than 10, 20.
It was quite a few lines worth.
Yeah, and all of it was like pending.
And then all of them got dropped all at once.
Well, no, not
No,
technically.
they haven't been dropped.
They're still pending.
Still.
Yeah,
It's just
Susan's...
The investigators quit going to it. They never closed the case, but they didn't pursue it either.
See, I thought they were closed.
Yeah.
That's what they say. That's why I went and purchased them and found out.
So, in the Mormon religion, if you get married in the temple, there's certain criteria of lifestyle that you need to have to be worthy to get married in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Richie and Susan were not able to get married in the temple because Richie's ex-wife... So, both you and Richie's ex-wife were contacted, are you okay with them getting married in the temple or whatever? And both
That
of
was a good letter.
both of you had said, here's all the information. Absolutely not, really.
Oh, poor Bishop was inundated. I knew what I said. I could only imagine what she said.
In hindsight, we found out what she had submitted too. And
Oh man, she's got tremendously more than I do.
our bishop... So I had a... Oh, this is a whole story.
I thought that went like further up. I didn't know it went to the bishop.
Bishop. So the bishop got all this stuff from you and Richie's ex-wife, and I'm sure he's like, I'm just setting this up the chain.
That's okay.
Sent
That's
it
what it
to
is.
Salt Lake, which is headquarters for the church, and until that is dissolved or resolved, they're not allowed to get married in the temple. So until that is taken care of officially, that's still in the air.
Wow. See, wow.
Yeah, I was told. I remember being there when they found out. When I was still around when Susan and Richie were getting married, and they had a huge blow up when they found out that the bishop had sent that off to Salt Lake because he didn't know it for himself to be true. So you just sent those things off? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were furious.
They were furious.
I wouldn't be surprised after this video is released that another blowout happens because we talked about it.
Oh well.
You know, if you have secrets to hide...
Did the first 2 podcasts that they've seen fix anything?
They got more furious after
Oh,
the
how
first
about
2.
that?
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to this.
Okay.
Okay, so we've established that we did have 4 months where I had every right to withhold them from their mother for safety reasons.
I never finished the argument with
Okay.
Nana.
Oh, that's right.
This might be a part 1 and part 2.
So, the argument that I had with Nana, she was asking me, what do you think caused this? And I explained earlier that it was educational reasons. And she went on to say, well, don't you think that your dad taking you from 4 months actually caused it? I'm like, no, that happened after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take this timelines and they've kind of reversed it. It's kind of like what you see.
They
in
start the
politics.
timeline when they think it's convenient for them, not when the story actually starts.
It's always convenient. But
Yeah. Well, the war doesn't start until you retaliate from all the antagonism. So they don't include the antagonism
all the
before the
behavior,
retaliation.
all the behavior, acting like you have sole custody when you actually have joint. Yeah, that didn't start it.
Not at all.
Okay, I'm done.
All right.
Okay. So, but which parent was more likely to allow communications and stuff?
You've never ever taken any of our communications away. Our
Never.
phones, our laptops, radios, whatever.
Yeah, you're not touching my radio, so you're not licensed to use
And
them.
we even mentioned that in the courtroom of, you weren't in there at that point when I was testifying, and they asked, I think it was my lawyer that asked, has Susan ever stopped you from communicating with your kids? And I was like, absolutely. She took away their phone at this time. When Officer Wade came in, they took it away. She has basically broke the tablet at least twice in trying to take it from you. She's even sent me email saying, I took it away. She's like, well, why would she do that? And I said, because she claims communication is inappropriate.
And on top of that, she's mentioned in multiple emails, I think, that it'd be best if Raymond and Layla leave their phones, which you had bought them,
Yes.
at your place instead of taking it to her house.
Yeah, but if that would have happened, she just would have bought us phones for communications, and then...
But then it's hers to take away from
Yeah.
you. She doesn't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
anything that isn't given from her to also be taken away from her.
As I said, it's not a gift, it's a nuisance rope.
Well, read Eyes and Eyes in the Goal Process, and you'll learn the difference between a gift and reward and leverage, basically. And it was never a gift, and it was never a reward. It was leverage, and almost everything that you guys received. Okay, number 7. Let's move on. Whether one parent intentionally misled the court to cause an unnecessary delay to increase the cost of litigation, or to persuade the court to give a legal decision-making or parenting time preference to that parent.
I think this one is more relevant now than it has
Relevant.
before.
What does litigation mean?
Basically, where you're arguing.
Because it says the cost of this whole thing.
Okay, I wanted them to be heard in court.
Yep.
Susan wanted them to go to counseling, which we spoke about earlier, in a previous episode. But then Susan came back with this counteroffer of this extremely $10,000-$15,000 procedure kind of thing to have them heard.
It wasn't a procedure, it was more like
What was it called? There's a term.
psychologic therapy or something.
Eval.
Yeah, psychological evaluation.
Yeah.
Therapeutic evaluation.
Because you guys have been so poisoned that there needs to be more looked into it to verify what you would say anyway.
Yeah, and so Michael said, so you wanted this one. And so, but the father wanted the court-appointed ones, and it may have been, I think it was like $500, wasn't it? Something like that total.
It was like,
And I offered to pay 100% of that. If she would agree to having them listen to the court-appointed interviewer, I would pay 100% just to make sure your voices got heard. She's like, no, I want this $10,000 one.
And
Well,
then-
see, that raises the price.
Yeah, and then she'd even told me and Raymond after it was kind of brought up, after we got the papers and stuff, it was like she made it sound like it was literally just a normal counselor, but a professional. For a professional opinion.
because the court appointed, whatever.
Yeah. And she denied it. And so our attorney said, could he afford what you're asking? Oh, no, he can't afford that. Well, okay, well, then you've intentionally outpriced the other parent, haven't you?
And
Intentionally.
you've denied them because they would testify against you.
And you've taken away all their communications. So, okay. So I think we kind of established that, number 7 was, she did lie. Like I said earlier, I had a list in my head of every perjurous thing that she had said.
Apparently perjury isn't a
Make
thing you can
perjury
charge
illegal
on.
again.
Make perjury illegal again.
Illegal.
Oh.
I don't want illegal. I mean, it kind of already is.
Illegal.
8. Whether there has been domestic violence or child abuse pursuant to Section 25-403-03. So,
0.03.
I thought I said point, whatever.
So that's just
No,
that's just homeschooling community.
no, it's
Oh.
it's a completely different. 403. Well,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
No, that's. I think there must be something weird. Okay, but we had 2 of those domestic violence calls
Mm-hmm.
because of you fighting with Richie, right?
Yeah.
So, what else?
I think that's what it's saying is has. Well, it doesn't.
Well,
say-
has there been domestic disputes?
and child abuse pursuant. So pursuant on either domestic violence or child abuse. Is it echoing in here?
No, you just keep repeating yourself.
Oh. I just keep hearing me echo. I'm like, that's weird.
But yes, we did have documentation showing. That's what we subpoenaed the counselor records for.
Yeah.
Was to show that you guys had told the counselor that you had physical contact with Richie. And
Best birthday present.
was it your birthday? That's
Well,
no. The birthday was when they left town without you.
Well, the reason for the physical altercation with Richie trying to lock me out of the house was like a few days before they left, during my birthday.
Yeah, and that whole reason
That
was
was the same
because...
Yeah, that was the same week.
Of course.
Yeah,
it
and
was.
then the whole reason why that happened was because Richie stole your speaker,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
which was the birthday present.
yeah.
We've never even spoke about the story of that, where she left town. She made arrangements to have you guys go to a neighbor's house for a week.
A week.
And I sent her an email saying, "Hey, I'm the father. You need to ask me first and decline before you make other arrangements with somebody else."
But she could still decline it?
No,
You would.
I would have
He
to
would have to
decline it.
decline
She would
it.
have to
Okay.
say, "I'm leaving town for a week. Can you take the kids that week?" And I would have to say, "No, I can't because I'm also out of town," or whatever reason for a can't. Then she's obligated to find somebody else.
Okay.
But she didn't do that. Instead, she just said, "I have so and so. They're going to stay at this house this long," and you were.
Yeah.
She was going to have you go to both to different people. You were supposed to be riding the school because she had you in summer school,
Oh, yeah, that's right. 3 weeks.
and she's expecting you to ride the bike.
Yeah, she expected me to ride my bike to the bus stop and then have Raymond take it back.
Take the bike back. And so Raymond has to do 2 trips in a day to take the bike to the bus stop and back. I don't think so. But what happened was when they left, they were supposed to leave Monday morning after I drop you off. But then they left the Saturday when I had you guys. So when I drop you off at Susan's house on that Monday,
No one was there.
No.
your best friend was there.
Your
Yeah.
friend younger than you
10 months younger, yeah.
was there to.
To welcome you home.
Yeah.
And I felt really bad having to say, "I'm sorry, I can't leave him with you." Because I like you.
He was very understanding on that one.
He was. And he was like, "Cool." That's his favorite word, isn't
See you
it?
later.
Like, I'm out here. So I called the lawyer. It's like, "She's not here." It's like, "Keep him."
Yeah.
So I got to keep you guys that whole week, and it was on your birthday.
And
No.
she said you have them on unauthorized
Yep.
time
On his
after
birthday.
she had left.
On his birthday.
That
That
And
was the
New
birthday
Year.
card.
Or, wait, no, not New 4th of... No, weren't we also with you for one of the holidays?
Well, yeah,
4th
for
of
4th of
July.
July because
Yeah,
they were
okay,
gone
yeah.
for
June
the whole week.
28th. What do you think is right after that?
29th. And then the 30th. However, it's not the 31st. I think there's only 30 days in June, right?
I'm not sure.
Well,
I thought I was...
Whatever.
In my mind... Oh my god. Never mind. It's fine.
there. Woo-hoo, I felt it come out.
It's vacuous.
Okay, let's see. Where were we at?
8.
Okay, 8.
No, we already read that one. 9.
No, yet we did. 9. The nature and extent of coercion or duress used by a parent in obtaining an agreement regarding legal decision-making or parenting time. Yeah, you weren't coerced.
What does that even mean?
It means that
Forced.
you were forced into doing something. Kind of like, you need to get good grades to get a permit.
Yeah. or you first need to earn your bike back before you can get your permit, and I'm not giving your bike back for at least a month.
And then she even said that you stole your own bike.
Yeah,
We
right
talked
before
about
that.
that in the last episode.
Okay, go ahead and read the next one.
Number 10, whether a parent has complied. Sorry, I've been doing coding all week.
You compiled this?
Whether a parent has complied with Chapter 3, Article 5 of this title.
Do you know what that is, Layla?
No.
Chapter 3, Article
The
5.
parenting course.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't have that one. No.
Okay, the state of Arizona requires both parents to take a parenting course. I took mine the week I learned I had to take it. I'm like, it was fun. What you do is you go into a room and they tell you about your kids. And I'm like, this is great. My kids are cool. And Susan never took it until February of 2021, I think it was.
We had the first court date, and she still hadn't taken
She
it.
hadn't
It was
taken
in the notes of the first judge who ruled the first ruling that she had not taken the parenting course in over 10 years.
Yes, and that section right there, it is called non-compliance is the name of that law. And it says, any parent who has not taken the parenting course shall be denied every request.
Obviously, that was not followed.
That was totally ignored.
And we found out because of the judge's notes that she hadn't taken it.
Yes, we didn't. If I knew that before, I would have been going in with a much different battle cry. It's been over a decade, and you still have not done this.
I forgot.
No, she never
Well,
responded.
I mean, the argument that she made with me is that she said that she took it, but it wasn't filed correctly.
Well, that's a personal issue
Yeah, that's what I said. That's
of
You should've
responsibility.
yeah.
She's
like,
used that
should've
on
been
us
worked
several
out.
times.
Yeah.
I know.
On the reversal.
Yeah. Well, it's your responsibility to take care of that.
Yeah.
But it's not
Yep,
yours.
and Section 4. I'm sure we'll get into that in a different episode.
What's Section 4?
To file for child support so that you can collect.
Oh.
She never did that either. Okay.
11.
11. Whether either parent was convicted of an act of false reporting of child abuse or neglect under Section 13. Granted, with all the evidence we put, the judge still put no evidence. So, obviously not.
You know, I was surprised that when Susan was saying she went with love bombing, I wasn't sure she was going to pull out some sort of, like, you've abused us of some kind. But she couldn't, there is absolutely nothing she can use to put that on you. She can't even accuse you of that to the least degree.
So, this is the law that, in particular for U.S. dads, that made me say, judges know the law.
Or
They
at
deal
least-
with this all day, every day.
Yeah.
This one isn't a secret. How did so many discretions end up not being valid? And it went to the extent where the first judge wrote, "Father seems very paranoid." And then the second judge copied and pasted. In the previous one, father was apparently paranoid. Like I said, when I read these things, if I didn't know it was about me, I would not like that person. So,
And then B.
okay, and part B. Okay, I don't know if this one's much specific. Okay, in contested legal decision making in parenting time case, the court shall make specific findings on the record about all relevant factors and reasons for which the decision is the best interest in the child. We even did a follow-up with the judge. Please explain, what law did you use to take me away from my kids 91% of the time? The only response I got was not what were the specific findings? What were the factors? And how is this in the best interest of the child? What we got was a single sentence. Motion denied.
Really makes you wonder, is this usual?
Yeah, is this normal?
How
if this is, I'm
common-
very furious with our government.
And then if it isn't normal, that's also an issue.
Yeah.
This is probably more common than what is apparent in the real world and in society. But still, this is not normal.
I don't know. I've heard some other pretty bad stories, and
that's why I said it's not
but
as
then,
uncommon as.
But we've had people
think.
who go to, like we had one judge, and then the state switched judges. We didn't. But some people switch different judges. They fight for a different judge or whatever. But you can go to one judge with the same evidence, witnesses, stories, and get one ruling, and then you go to the next one, and it's completely different. In fact, when we got the lawyer on there, he read what the first judge had wrote, and he's like, if you would have had a different judge, you would have had a completely different outcome. And we're like, why? When we have statutes.
That in itself tells you that it has nothing to do with the law. It has nothing to do really with you. It's the personality and the mood and the whim or whatever of the individual judge.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
If things were a fair balance and a fair battle in this, if I got negative news, but it was at least consistent with the law, I could handle that just fine. I can handle taking a loss. I can learn from a loss. But when you are cheated, what is there to learn? That cheaters win. That's not a good lesson. And that you have to fight harder. And then the other thing that astounds me is when these cheaters do get what they want, how do they enjoy that? Because she has you 91% of the time now. And does she get to have pleasure or joy out of this, especially joy? No, it's actually even harder on her now.
Yeah, in arguments, she'll even make comments of like, this is not what I wanted.
What did you want?
Yeah, so what did you want?
You were granted everything you asked for.
100%. I was denied 100%.
And you're still unsatisfied.
Because when you cheat to win, there's no satisfaction. Because in the back of your head, this isn't mine. I can't respect this. I didn't earn it. And so they mistreated even more. And that's kind of what we've seen since, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, as we've mentioned in other episodes, our story is the catalyst for pushing U.S. dads. Because, in all honesty, you should not be worried from the personality of one judge to the other. It really should be consistent with the law. That would be good for families on all aspects across the whole country. That is, we believe that's what the country needs.
Yeah, it needs the laws to be followed. We do have great laws on the book. We've been studying them, huh?
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it has actually been fun becoming a lobbyist and watching some of these Senate hearings and the books that are coming out and the arguments for and against. I'm definitely polarized one way over the other. But yeah, it'll be a fun thing to make sure that these laws are being applied. And if you didn't read the February article about judging the judges and, the Father's Lobby, how it came about, watching another law going through the Arizona legislature, how it passed the House at huge percent, and then to get killed by judges, where they're putting themselves in a place that they don't belong in the infrastructure of the system. So, if you get a chance, go to usdads.org. And
also, we're coming out with some t-shirts that are going to say, "Judge your judges."
Judge your judges.
Or, make laws legal again.
That's our slogan. Make laws legal again.
I didn't know that was the t-shirt design you had.
Yep, at perversities.com.
All right, are we good?
Yep, we're good. We'll see you next time.